like I said, a packed show. L set this up, dude. Absolute monster, 13-3, 4-1 under the UFC, a middleweight contender, star on the rise. Let's bring him in right away. Mr. Joe Pyfer coming on. Joe, what's up, brother?
What's up, guys? How are you?
Good, man. How are you?
I'm good. Just got done training, so it was good. Good day so far, and a little snowfall, you know?
Ooh, you're up in Philly, right?
Yeah. We didn't get that much, but it's pretty icy out.
We're Florida people. We don't know nothing about that snow. Nothing.
It's a no for me.
I'm over it too. Trust me. As I walk outside, I'm frozen. I hate it.
Have to come on down to South Florida.
Yeah.
We got you. Apparently not. Apparently it's gonna get super cold here too. We got like
it might snow in Disney World on Thursday. First time, like in 50 years. Yeah,
no,
good.
That's unacceptable. No.
Yeah, I know they said the cold front was coming in. So yeah, it's definitely cold as shit up here, and I hate it.
Before we get going, Joe, for 10, 15 minutes of your time, and first of all, appreciate your time. Are we allowed to talk about something that might happen or might not happen on March 29th in Mexico City? Are we allowed to discuss that or not really?
No, you are. I signed the contract. He signed the contract, so
boom.
Fuck it. Okay. We'll talk about it.
Let's go. All right. So March 29th, Kelvin Gastelum, big name. You know, one of the best fights I think I've ever seen. Him and Izzy 4 or 5 years ago. Humongous name. Joe, I guess that's the first question for you. How do you feel about it? Mexico City, Kelvin Gastelum.
Yeah, I love the matchup. I think it's the right fight. I wound up holding off for this fight because I didn't want to fight overseas, and I also didn't want to fight back too far against somebody who was 2-2, which was Abus Magomedov. And I know the UFC wasn't really happy that I didn't want to fight backwards, but you know, it wound up paying off, and I think this makes much more sense. You know, he's got 500,000 followers. He's a legend who's fought everybody. He's 13-9. Granted, he's not, you know, he's kind of like a 500 fighter, just a little bit better than that. But you know, he's fought the best in the world, and he's fought, you know, some really good guys to split decisions, including Izzy for the title. And he's fought the who's who, man. So I'm excited about it, but I'm excited about it also for the selfish reasons of how I feel I match up.
Yeah, and I have to ask, like, Mexico City is notorious for sucking the cardio out of some of these high level guys with crazy altitude. Obviously, Kelvin Gastelum for a long time made a career off of that gas tank. Do you feel like he still has that? How are you preparing for the changes in altitude with Mexico City? All of that.
Yeah, I'm preparing the best that I can, and you know, doing, you know, the sleep stuff, and having the UFC get involved and helping me with the hyperbaric chamber. I think the best thing that I can do is make sure that I'm in the best cardio shape possible and have the strongest lungs possible, and go out there and have the time to adjust. I don't think that there's anything special that I can really do other than make myself in tremendous shape. And just get my body physically there to adjust to the altitude. I think that's the biggest thing. So, yeah, I'm going to be prepared. And, you know, this is going to be more of, let's just put it this way. I don't think I've ever shown up in one of my fights as a championship quality yet. And I think come March 29th, with the time that I have, I will be championship quality. And, you know, granted, I don't get sick and walk in pneumonia like I did against Jack Hermanson. I'll be the best that I can be. So as far as Kelvin's motivation and how he's going to do, I don't think that he has some stellar gas tank as of late.
Yeah.
And I think that my man probably cuts corners, and that's why he misses weight a lot. So I don't know. I don't give a fuck what he does. So he better be ready though. That's all I care about.
I know you say you don't care what he does, but you did say you feel like you match up well against him. What are specific things that you see that you know that you can capitalize on?
Well, I mean, for starters, you know, I know he had a great fight against Izzy, right? But Izzy's really like a point fighter, a tactician, likes to move, doesn't really stand in the pocket too much. Yeah, I'm a big guy at middleweight. I think I have devastating power that he has to be very respectful of, you know, where he was able to walk down Izzy because he wasn't too worried about it. So yeah, I mean, I think I have a size advantage. I think I have a speed advantage. And I think I have the clean. I just think I'm better. I think I'm a better jiu-jitsu practitioner than he is. You know, he went against my teammate Sean Brady, and I train with him a lot. So you know, we already have insight as to how strong he kind of is and how weak he kind of is. So Which doesn't mean, I win by default just because my teammate won. Styles make fights and each fight is different. So, I just think that I'm a taller, bigger, stronger, better wrestler, better jiu-jitsu artist. And I think as long as I mix everything up perfectly, he's never going to have a chance to get into the fight.
I love that. All those boxes. Joe's like, check the up. Yep, I'm better. Check that. I love that. Love that. Dude, I had a piece of paper here with like 9 questions for you, Joe. But like you said something at the beginning, I was like, boom, I just went right to it. I think it's so underrated that fighters or their managers or management teams or whatever it is, you said, hey, you got offered this. That wasn't right for me. That wasn't the decision. I wanted to go with my career. I think that's so important. I love that you said that. Like you took, no, this is the path I want to go. You got one career, you got one, year being 28, 29, 30, all that stuff. I think that's uber important. Are you, I guess you think the same way, or you're just maybe that one matchup about going overseas, or do you think is it vital for you to make the right game plan, the right pieces for your career?
Yeah, well, I think they eventually would have got the fight, over here, or I think they even offered it over here, but it didn't make sense to take a fight against a guy who's 2-2,
Yeah.
who's 27-6, who's 2-2, and also like 6, 7 spots behind me. And
Yeah.
just because they don't like it doesn't mean that I have to take it, And
Yeah.
I feel like I kind of got talked shit on, and I didn't appreciate it. So I was like, okay, then I'll sit. Um, I'm not going to be undermined. I'm not going to be disrespected, and I don't care how far up the chain it goes. I'm not a peasant, and this is my job. This is my career. This is my health. I'm also coming off back surgery, so if there was a chance I had to fly far, I'm not doing it. This is still my first fight against Kelvin, which is further out, which I liked. And I know it's elevation and whatnot, but it was just it was too soon. It was uncomfortable, and I just felt like it was rushed, and I didn't really feel like there was any thought into the matchup. So I didn't like it, and I didn't take it, and that's fine. And then I don't really care what the outside world thinks of that. You call it being scared or whatever they want to call it. I'm fighting the best in the world no matter who I fight. So I just didn't think that fight was right for me, and I'm trying to move up, not backwards. And Kelvin, no matter how I win, is a step up in competition. Up there with like a guy like Jack Hermanson that I fought previous. So yeah, no, you're not gonna tell me what to do, and I'm just gonna do it. I have to make sense of it.
Yeah.
And yeah, this is my career, and I'm the captain of this ship. So that's how I see it.
I love it.
I love it.
Yeah, and you, like you said it, I was gonna ask the same thing. Like you've had this kind of step up before against Jack when you were sick. Obviously, didn't go your way. Like, how important is this performance? You said you're coming in championship level. Is a finish super important to you? Is there something you're looking, a specific statement you're looking to make as you take this next big step up?
Yeah, I mean, a win, no matter how I win, I think is the most important. But the standard that I hold myself to is I'm a finisher. I have 12 of 13 wins by finish. And I'm going to be trying to finish the fight. I can't say how, but that's what I do. I go in there, I try to cause damage, and I try to get these guys out of there. I don't get paid to fight long and have these wars. So if I can put his lights out, I'm going to put his lights out. And I have the power to do it in each hand. So that's something I'm blessed with. And so I think beating Kelvin, no matter what, as long as it's in dominant fashion, does a very good deal for me. And I don't see how I don't dominate him. We don't train to skate, just skim by. And even against, Jack in the worst preparation of camp, where I had 2.5 weeks to prepare for a 5-round fight, I showed I could, obviously tired, but I still went 5 rounds. And I was never in danger of getting finished. I got hit in the eye once that really like hindered my vision in the fight. And I took my shots, but I didn't get wobbled. I didn't get dropped. I wasn't almost submitted. And that's a guy who had more professional fights in the UFC than I've had in my career. So I showed a lot with the little preparation I had and the little time that I had to, obviously go against a guy like him. And I lost by 1 round. I lost 3-2. So I'm not really that upset about that. It's just a lot to learn from it. And that's also a part of, steering my career in the direction to not take fights just because.
Right.
Because it's the first main event. You get a new contract. You got to take the number 10 guy. I could have taken it a little slower, and then maybe I wouldn't have been sick, or who knows, whatever it is what it is. Those are the cards I was dealt. So, yeah, no, getting a finish over Kelvin is priority number one for me. But, no matter what, when I win, I dominate, and that's what I'll do.
Like Sugar Sean O'Malley had that weird kind of loss to Cheeto back in the day, but Sean's rise, I think, will be a little bit, I think, like yours. Big name, very fan friendly, 3 wins, championship fight for you. Like I have that kind of projection for you. I don't know if you feel the same, but that's how I feel about you. Do you think that win against Jack Hermanson or the comeback or fight against him is important to you at all? Do you want that back, or is it's out of sight, out of mind? You get your 3 big wins. You could be fighting Izzy, summer of 2026, that kind of thing. Or is that Jack, you go to bed, you're like, God dang it, I want that one back.
Nah, man, I really did give everything that I had in that fight with what I had. So obviously I'm just upset at the, if I was to say I was upset, if I'm upset, I was just upset that I didn't get to give full preparation, and it's not taking anything from him. And I think that's the thing that, maybe I've confused some people with. I'm not taking away the fact that Jack beat me. I'm taking away the performance that I was able to give with the time that I had, if anybody knows what walking pneumonia is, I had it for 25 friggin' days, and I still had residual effects of antibiotics. And then because my immune system was low, when I was done being sick, I had a MRSA spot on my forearm and I had a MRSA spot on my bicep, and that was 2 weeks before the fight. So I was then again on antibiotics while cutting weight. So again, the fact that I still went out there, I didn't give a fuck. I showed up, I fought, I swung for the fences, tried to knock him out. I came up short, and I lost by a round. It is what it is. You know what I mean? So I've talked to Jack, and, even in my lack of preparation, he said in the interview that I was one of the hardest guys he's been hit by. So that, kind of made me feel like, all right, like I shouldn't be that upset with myself. Like I was this close, and it is what it is. So I'm cool with Jack. I think Jack's a good person, and if I was to lose to anybody, I think Jack's a hell of a good person outside of the fight game. That I can live with that if we don't fight again. But if the opportunity arises, I will say yes, and we will get it.
I love it. I love it. How much do you appreciate the whole CFFC grappling kind of right in your backyard, all that stuff? It seems you're yearly, right? Sometimes 2 times a year. How cool is it that you can grapple and make a little money, stay busy, get your name out there, every 6-8 months?
Yeah, I love it, man. Fury grappling is awesome because I get to go out and, one, like my jiu-jitsu coach behind me is, the matchmaker and whatnot. So I get to go out there and have fun in front of all the people that used to sponsor me and come to my local shows and supported, maybe don't have the money to get out to the UFC shows now, obviously, because we're always traveling, but it's nice to give back. I just do it for fun, man. And this one, I had a couple opponents fall through. But I will tell you on another note, because I can't stand this person. I was originally supposed to go against Pat Downey, who my teammate Andre went against. And I declined that because we were told that Paul Craig submitted to do Fury grappling. Soon as my name came across his fucking eyeballs, the guy disappeared and the match fell through, and then I wound up getting a last minute, opponent, and Nicholas Willie, who obviously used to fight MMA, he's first degree to black belt, whatnot. But it was just kind of like anticlimactic. It was like building to be like a really great match against Paul, and then the fucking guy disappears. I can't get this dude to fight me in MMA. The promoters can't get this guy to fight me. I can't stand that fucking dude. So yeah. But in other news, yes, I love fighting for Fury. It's just awesome. I figured I'd give you the backstory as to why.
No, I love it. I love
big names.
We're here for the backstories. We're here for
absolutely. How you said you were originally supposed to grapple Pat Downey. Is that another one you want? I know he's a very polarizing guy in the wrestling community right now.
Yeah, he talks a little too much for my liking. So I told him a couple of things. I was like, "You act up, man. There won't be a grapple match. I'll punch you in your shit." So, but he's actually a nice guy. I just didn't like that he was like, "Oh, I'll wrestle you and Andre in the same night." It was like, all right, bud. Like you're 1-1 in MMA. You got knocked the fuck out, kid. Like relax, and you fight for Bellator. Like I don't want to hear it. So, yeah, I shut that down pretty quick. But yeah, no, I would like to compete against Pat. The problem is he wants to come train with us, and I'm not one of these guys that if I'm going to fight you one day or I'm going to compete against you, I don't want you to train with me. I don't like the whole. don't go train with guys that I'm going to fight. I'm not about it. Like, you're trying to hurt me and take my money from me. I'm not going to train with you. So obviously I'll never fight Pat, probably, because to be quite honest, I don't think he's ever going to be good enough to get to that level. He might be in jiu-jitsu. He might be a big deal, but MMA, I just think he's a turd. So yeah, maybe we'll grapple each other in the future, but if he comes up to train, then I can't grapple with guys that I'm maybe in the future going to call my friends. I don't like doing that.
So far, Dave, we've got just some reels cut for you. Joe Pyfer's not a peasant, and Pat Downey is a turd.
Not a peasant. That's right.
I'm gonna every time I know the body bags is the nickname. I'm gonna start calling Joe the captain. He said that early. I'm the captain of the ship. I'm gonna just put that on t-shirts. I like it. Talking about t-shirts, you go to joepfeiffer.com, get yourself some sick merch. I love the merch there, my man. Got some good stuff, hats, shirts. joepfeiffer.com. Shout out. There you go.
Yeah, it hasn't been updated in like fucking 6 months, but yeah, I'll get. I have a hard time doing any of that crap, man.
Yeah,
it's so hard, especially when you're in camp. Like, it's.
I just don't care. I don't know. I just don't care.
It should be such a a third thing or a fourth thing. A lot of other fighters make it really top of that, but like I say it all the time, if you just keep winning fights, all that stuff will take care of itself. Like everything will take care of everything else. Podcasts, shirts, all that stuff. But two fun fights coming up. Your division. Love your take. You can go 5 seconds or a minute. You're the captain. You're the captain of the ship. So whatever you want. Next month, Dreykus versus Sean Strickland. Championship on the line. Who do you got winning?
I got Sean Strickland.
Me too, Joe. I like it. Okay.
I hope Sean Strickland wins. I'm not a big DDP fan.
Okay.
Yeah. Am I crazy for saying this? I said this to Dave, and he thought I was nuts. I don't enjoy watching him fight. It's so messy.
DDP? Yeah, it's like an anxiety-filled fight because you feel like he's about to lose, and then he pulls it off, and then he's about to lose, and he pulls it off. Yeah, I mean, like, the guy's tough, and he makes the awkward style that he has work. I just think people need to be a little bit more patient because he's very wild. There's a lot of openings with that guy. So I'm very shocked that Izzy could have got it done, but lack of wrestling, man. Like, some of these guys have all the greatest jiu-jitsu. Like, this is what I'm saying. Like, me against Kelvin. Like, Kelvin's not that good of a wrestler, and Kelvin's really not that good at jiu-jitsu either. It's just his physical attributes are just kind of against him, and he yeah, I don't know. Some of these guys only have a couple pieces to the puzzle. I know I have all three. You're not like like Izzy got taken down by DDP and immediately puts his neck up and goes on all fours. It's like, come on, man.
Right.
That's like get up 101. What are you doing? So yeah, I got Sean Strickland.
I love that. Talking about Izzy, Saudi Arabia, a couple weeks after that, Izzy versus Nasruddin. Nasruddin's on a run right now, just defeated Brendan Allen. I feel like these guys in the next 6-8 months, Joe, are kind of, you'll be crossing paths with Brendan or Nasruddin, Kinnear, all that stuff. What do you think of that fight? Is Izzy get back on the track, or is he kind of descended?
Well, me and Brendan are boys. He comes up, we cross train him. He comes up and trains with us. So I won't be fighting him unless it's number one contender of the title. Okay. But I'm not a big fan of Nasruddin. I can't stand his fucking little smirk on him. I think he's another one who's a really good striker, but kind of a shitty grappler. And I think Brendan had a very bad night. That's not typically how he looks. And I know he had some health issues. So not an excuse, but I mean, these things fucking matter. If you're a fighter, they matter. You can't just ignore them just because fans are like, oh, you're a sore loser. It is what it is. I know that wasn't the best Brendan, and he gave him a really good fight. But yeah, I think Israel is able to pick him apart. That's what Izzy does best. I think he has more tools than Nasruddin. I think Nasruddin's going to be. I think he's like technically boxing is better, but I don't think his kickboxing is better than Izzy.
Right.
And I don't really see him being able to take Izzy down. So I got Izzy by boring decision.
I love that. Joe, we'll let you run in a minute, man. And Elle, if you have anything last, you said a couple things twice or three times, and Jillian Robertson comes on our show every Tuesday. We love her some G. And when she fought in Jacksonville, she's on a 3-fight winning streak now, but her last loss, she knew deep down inside she should have pulled out for multiple reasons. I won't get into it, all that stuff. But you just said, like, you were sick kind of going to the Hermanson stuff. Brendan was a little bit messed up. Not going back on it, but can you be like, shit, man, maybe I should have pulled out. Maybe I wasn't 100%. A win's important, main event, all that stuff for Hermanson? Or is it you kind of that guy, I signed the dotted line, I'm going to show up on fight night?
I think it's a bit of both. And in my case, I think it was being broke. So I
Okay.
think it's
That'll do
yeah,
it.
it's just what it is. Like people don't
Yeah.
like to say it, being broke,
Huh.
the fear of being broke if you don't take the fight, you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I took the fight not because of I took it because of everything. One, I believed even I'll tell you this wholeheartedly. Going into the fight, no matter how I felt, I really believed I could knock him out. And
Yeah.
going back and watching the fight, there's two instances where I really hurt him and I didn't recognize it because he's a veteran that hides it in the way that he moves. Like he was able to move very well and he's awkward already. So I didn't even get wind that I had him like clipped.
Right.
And I didn't have his legs like falling all over the place, but I had him stumbled a couple times where he was like, hurt. And I just didn't know it. Going back and watching, I realized it. But I think fear of being broke, like, yeah. But ultimately, it's a lesson that I needed. I think even if I had knocked him out, it would have been bad for me because I think I would have had that same fight, healthy or sick or not, against like an Israel Adesanya. So I think it happened at the right time. I think it was a good thing for me, and
Yeah.
I've only had positives from it. And like I said, Jack's a cool dude. We've talked, and I picked his brain a little bit about what his game plan was to fight someone like me, and I obviously knew the calf kicks were going to be there. But I had already, we all have injuries. Like I have so many fucking reasons as to why shit went the way that it went, but it is what it is. So yeah, no, taking the fights. I think people take fights because they need money, and
Yeah.
that's the main reason.
What a
But
stud,
me,
Joe.
if I sign the fight, bro, I'm gonna show up. So yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
Respect. I have one more question for you, Joe. First time we met you, we were in Las Vegas. You were driving this crazy Lambo around. You let Grant drive it. I was standing by the PI, and I could just hear them going back and forth on the highway right there. Are you going to be driving something extra sick in Mexico City?
I don't. So Royalty Exotics is out in Vegas, and they usually hook me up. It's my guy Houston that owns it, so he usually hooks me up when I'm in Vegas. But I don't know anybody in Mexico, and to be honest, I don't think that I'm gonna want to drive there. I'm like kind of like sketched out. I don't like traveling. I don't fucking need the cartel killing my ass over there. I don't. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know anything about Mexico.
I don't
Like,
know
I'm not.
anything about Mexico City.
I've
I'm
heard
not
some
a big
stories, Joe.
Mexican
I got some
culture guy.
stories.
I'm not a fucking
Yeah.
burrito fan. I'm not a salsa fan. I don't like the music. I'm not a Mexican culture guy, so I'm going into enemy territory. You know what I mean?
Oh,
So
man.
it is
Oh,
what it is. So probably not going to be driving because I don't want to get arrested the way I drive.
dude, that's
Fair
the
enough.
best.
Yeah.
That's the best, dude. Joe Pyfer, absolute stud inside and outside the cage. Joe, man, appreciate your time. Big fans
Thank
over
you.
here in Fight Bananas, and we'll talk soon, brother. Hey, good skill on the 29th, all right?
Yeah, thank you. Oh, tell Grant I said what's up and thank you.
Will do. Thank you so
All right,
much,
see you
Joe.
guys.
There you go. The captain, Joe Pyfer.
Yes.
Dude, what a
Dude, he's
stud.
a